Hey everyone, this is Kara Putman, and I just want to take a couple of minutes to pop in with a behind the scenes look at my very first novel, Canteen Dreams. You could call this Kara avoiding working on her next novel, but I wanted to take just a couple of minutes because this story is one that some of you have read and love, and it's one that some of you may not have been exposed to yet. This is the original cover, Canteen Dreams. I have since re-released it, so it's got a new fun cover. But this story is one that I never thought I would write. I never thought I would write historical. In fact, if you talked to me back in 2005 when I was starting this writing journey, I was like, I am only writing romantic suspense. And then at my first ACFW, I met Tracy Peterson and her husband and started talking to them about books and what they were looking for at Barber. And they were looking for historicals, but also Nebraska stories. And I happened to be a Nebraska girl, so I was like, I started thinking about it, and what came out of that, literally as I was at ACFW and the ideas just started spinning, was my hometown is North Platte, which during World War II, between December of 1941, right after Pearl Harbor, until April 1946, so literally months after the war had ended, every troop train that went through North Platte was met by the community and food and just all these amazing things. And so that became the setting for Canteen Dreams. But then the romance is actually based on my grandparents' story. And so it was really fun to write that, although my grandmother's reaction when she read it just makes me smile because she was like, oh, I see you borrowed our names. And I was like, Grandma, I borrowed more than your names. But my grandfather was the only son of a farmer, and so he was drafted 4 times and sent home each time. And that became the crux of Willard's journey in the novel, was what would that be like to be in a community where you want to serve, but you're not allowed to serve because you're the only son of a farmer and food's important. And then my grandma was actually a one-room schoolhouse teacher in eastern Nebraska, so I just made her a teacher in North Platte. And then Willard became a rancher because ranches are more common in western Nebraska than farms are. So that's kind of how I got the idea for Canteen Dreams. What was really fun is the book released in October of 2007, and the next year in 2008, it won a massive award, so which was just really thrilling. The ACFW, what was then the book of the year and now is the Carol for short historical, and I shared it with Mary Keneally. Another fun fact, my very first ACFW, she received her first contract in front of all of us, and that's when I went, this can actually happen. So for us both to win the Carol and share it that year was really very special because truly seeing her get her contract was just a thrill. But it's kind of fun to see that my mom just popped on, because one of the things that made getting the Carol Award so special in 2008 is my mom was at ACFW because I had a 5 or 6 month old, and the only way I could be at ACFW and serving on the board and running a bookstore and book signing at Mall of America was my mom came and helped with our daughter. But at the time, I didn't know that part of the fun was going to be getting to thank her for everything that she did, because she homeschooled me. And the writer I am today is in large part thanks to what she did then, and the training and the way she allowed me to start writing books as a 13 and 14-year-old and didn't say, well, that's the craziest thing ever. So Shannon, it's so fun. Yeah, this is just kind of my story. And so Canteen Dreams is super special to me because it's the first book that I wrote that got published. It also was a reminder that God is in charge of the journey. I'm not, because I would have said I'm never going to write historical, and I love writing World War II stories. There's so much fun in those. And the fact that I got to write my grandparents' story and honor my hometown at the same time was just so special. So that is the story of Canteen Dreams. Now, if you decide you want to go check it out, I'm doing this on November 10th, and that's important because right now, Canteen Dreams is free in ebook. The cover looks different. It's got like records on it and daffodils, which when you read the story, that'll make sense. They meet at a dance, just like my grandparents did. And then daffodils are my favorite flower, so they became my grandmother's favorite flower. Sorry, Grandma, I'm not sure if you have a favorite flower, but that's what happened with Audrey. So it is free right now. You can go check it out and download it. It's on Nook, Amazon, iBooks, Kobo. I've also got it on Google Play, though I'm not sure it's free on Google Play yet. I'm still figuring that part out. And it's also an audiobook. So here's a tip. If you ever get ebooks and you really like audiobooks, check, because sometimes when you buy the ebook on Amazon in particular, it'll pop up with a discounted audiobook. So that can be a great way to collect audiobooks. I may have done that a time or two. So if you like audiobooks, check it out. But I just wanted to share a little bit about this story, which is it'll just always be very special to me because it is the first book that I finished. It's the first book that got published, and it also won the first award. So special in lots and lots of ways. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, it's just a special story, and it's one of those that it can be scary to go back and reread books that you wrote, in my case now, 10, 11, 12 years ago, and go, is it still going to be good writing? Am I going to want to redo it? And the reality is, I love it. It's a special story. So wanted to share a little bit about it with you today. Thanks for checking in. I'll drop a link in the bottom. So in case you do want to go check it out, since it is free right now. But that's the backstory of why I wrote this book and why it'll always be one of my favorites. Thanks so much for popping in, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks, Tammy and Shannon. So much fun, and Jennifer, always fun to have you pop in.